Dontaes Boxing Nation.
Dontaes Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? Let me first start by saying this. With all these fights going on this weekend, since I've been out here in Thailand, which is almost 4 years now, this is actually the first fight that I was able to watch at a normal time. Because the fight was in Japan, Golovkin versus Murata, and Japan is only an hour ahead of Thailand, that means instead of me having to watch the fights 9 o'clock in the morning on Sunday, I was able to watch this fight as if I was in the States. Because this card, it started 4 p.m. on Saturday, my time, and the main event started somewhere around 6 p.m. my time. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about this fight. So Gennady Golovkin, he continues his MBF campaign, stopping Ryoto Murata in the 9th round. Now, if you just hear that headline, it would sound like it was another typical flawless victory by Gennady Golovkin, but that was not the case. Triple G, he came very close to facing disaster this Saturday against Murata. In other words, this fight came very close to another cherry pick gone wrong because Murata was completely dominating the first half of this fight. He was walking down Gennady Golovkin. He was very aggressive. And throughout the fight, Golovkin, he looked very uncomfortable when he was getting hit with the body shots. Murata just kept coming forward, applying so much pressure. By the second round, Gennady Golovkin was breathing with his mouth open. He was gasping for air, and Murata was coming forward like the Terminator. Even Chris Algieri, who was calling the fight, he kept saying throughout the fight, I don't like the body language of Golovkin when he gets hit with those body shots. But it wasn't only the body shots. Murata, he was landing right hands flush. They were landing clean on Gennady Golovkin. But credit to Gennady Golovkin because he weathered the storm and he was able to change the whole fight with just one punch. He landed a real hard right hook that sent Murata's mouthpiece flying. And before the referee could break the fight, Golovkin was able to land another 2 hard shots, an uppercut and a hook, while Murata was fighting without his mouth guard. Before this sequence, every single time Golovkin threw a punch, Murata would be right back on Golovkin, hitting him with right hands and body shots. But after that sequence, Murata, he slowed down tremendously, and Golovkin, he noticed it right away. From that point on, it was the beginning of the end. Once again, Murata, he started to fight more defensive. Every once in a while, he would explode with some wild combination that didn't even come close to landing. Once again, he was fighting with a lot of confidence before the 6th round, but he looked like a complete different fighter after he got caught with that right hook. And coincidentally, 3 rounds later in the 9th round, it would be the right hook again that would stagger Murata and then send him to the canvas, and that's when the towel was thrown in. It's pretty ironic when you think about it, because considering the fact that Gennady Golovkin was 40 years old going into this fight, Gennady Golovkin, he looked like the young Golovkin. He looked like the same Golovkin that fought Canelo Alvarez, Sergey Derevyanchenko, and everyone else that he fought before this. In other words, we seen the same punch output, the same intelligence, the same durability, but at the same time, we seen the exact same flaws that we're used to seeing when it comes to a Gennady Golovkin fight in general. And even though this was clearly a cherry pick for Golovkin to avoid the, at the time, WBO champion that had been calling out Golovkin forever, Demetrius Andrade, and the WBC middleweight champion, Jamal Charlo, who'd been calling out Golovkin for years and years and years. Despite this being a cherry pick, you can also say that this was Golovkin's biggest win, his most dominant performance. And when I say his biggest win, I mean with no controversy. Of course, a lot of people would say that he beat Canelo Alvarez. But my point is, there's no doubt that he won this fight. And that says a lot about Gennady Golovkin's career. It shows you the type of competition he's been in the ring with. If once again, his biggest win with no controversy is against Ryoto Murata. And the biggest win with controversy would, of course, be a Canelo Alvarez fight, which on paper, he never got a W and fought him twice. Speaking of a third fight, when it comes to Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin, when it comes to the flaws that both fighters have, it's really a toss-up fight, even with Golovkin being 40, because once again, Golovkin, he looked just as good as he did when he fought Canelo the first 2 times. So because they both have so many flaws, I really don't know who's going to win this fight. But I give Golovkin a really good chance of pulling off the upset because he'll be an underdog because of his age, mainly because Golovkin's jab. But it's still kind of premature to be talking about that fight because Canelo has a serious uphill battle on May 7th going up against Bivol. There's no doubt about it, this is Canelo Alvarez's toughest challenge in the last 4 years. But when it comes to Gennady Golovkin, once again, I want to make it clear, I understand that Golovkin is going to be a major underdog, and Canelo Alvarez is not going to get a whole lot of credit if he does beat Golovkin just because everyone keeps looking at his age and they keep saying, why didn't you go ahead and just close the chapter when it comes to this Golovkin situation and fight him in the third fight 3-4 years ago? That's what Canelo Alvarez was supposed to do, but now since he didn't do that, once again, there's going to be somewhat of an asterisk next to that win if he even gets past Bivol and beats Golovkin in the third fight. We'll see how all this plays out. I truly believe it's going to be very difficult for Canelo Alvarez to beat Bivol without controversy. We'll see how it plays out. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
My name is Chris, and I'm all the way here from Anchorage, Alaska at Scalp Carolinas, and I'm here for my second treatment of SMP. Well, I was sitting at home one day and going over my Facebook page, and they have different, like advertisements popping up, and I saw one for SMP, and I saw some pictures of some guys, a before and after, and I was looking at that, and it caught my attention, so I Googled it. SMP, nothing showed up in my area. So, I did a little more research, and all of a sudden, Scalp Carolinas popped up in the web browser. So I started watching his videos and seeing all the reaction from all the other people. We talked on the phone, we made appointments and everything. I sent him pictures, and he looked at them, and I was like, can you fix this? And, he pretty much said, no problem. My first session, he made me feel extremely comfortable. It was almost like I was talking to family. He started, and during the whole treatment, we talked and, about our families and our life and, and things that he does and things that I do. And before I know it, the first session was over. When you see someone doing something that they love, as much as I see Enoch Glover love what he does, it shows in his work. I wouldn't point anyone in any other direction but here to North Carolina, Scalp Carolinas, to get this done.
All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.